My name is Representative Ephraim Elliott, and you've just been placed on alert. Welcome to the Elliott Alert. My guest today is Reverend Lloyd Holcomb, our new First Ward Alderman for Pine Bluff. Thank you for coming, Reverend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Brother Elliott.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on a wonderful campaign. You campaigned hard, and I think the best person got the job.
Yes, sir. Thank you. To God be the glory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And with Him, all things are possible.
Yes, sir.
We worked a hard campaign. I had a hard campaign manager.
Yeah. Which was your mom?
Was my mom, Irene Holcomb.
That's right.
She brought out the best in me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I guess on a side note, she has an event tonight for her retirement. Is that correct?
Right. It'll be tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
It's a retirement party for Sister Holcomb, serving over 23 years in the Pine Bluff City. And it'll be tonight at the Pine Bluff Convention Center.
Right. And she's leaving her post, the senior alderperson. Is that correct?
Senior alderperson. Be leaving her post. Amen.
Now that's those are pretty big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. You know, there'll never be another Irene Holcomb.
Yes,
that's a fact. But watching her over the years, listening to her speak, listening to her conduct business. Not only her, I can't leave out my dad also.
Right.
My dad's a great man himself. Listening to my mom conduct city business, just business in general. I've learned a lot, watched a lot, and I have big shoes to fill. Yes, sir. But I also have some big feet.
Right.
So I'm ready to start walking and working.
That sounds good, Reverend. And also, you know, your mom has some ties in Alzheimer, where my family is.
You from Alzheimer?
Well, my wife is, and we stay in Alzheimer. So,
okay.
So yeah, I know she taught down there too, or something like that.
She was born and raised in Alzheimer.
Okay.
Born and raised in Alzheimer. I can't say what year.
Right. No, we don't want to do that. I don't want to get you in trouble.
But she was born and raised in Alzheimer. She had three brothers. One's deceased, and thank God that her mother, my grandmother, Sister Rosalie Williams, is still living. She's 99 years old.
Oh man, that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing. Well, that is great. And I tell you, I know the time that your mom spent down there, she did a lot of great things. But you being the new alderman, I know that you're going to try to expound on a lot of things that she's done. But I know you got your own agenda as well. Right.
Like I said, she's done great things.
Right.
Legislation has already been passed. A lot of times, candidates, when they're running for office, they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Nobody's going to come in the first day and turn the world over. There's legislation that's already in place that has to be followed, but it must be, my main goal is to make sure that the legislation that has been passed is enforced and is working for the community. And then we move forward into introducing new legislation to make life better for everyone in the city.
Right, that sounds good. And I know, knowing you and being around you for a while, you've always been an approachable, humble, good guy. Is that the kind of alderman you're gonna be?
That's all I know how to be. Right. Because it's teamwork. I can be the smartest man in the world, but it's not about I. There's no I in the word team. It's all about teamwork. It takes everybody, all 8 council members, the mayor, and the city to work together.
Right.
What amazes me, people say that elected officials are doing good jobs while they're in office, but when it's time to run for office, that same person that was praising you now wants to run against you.
Right. Yeah. Boy, you done spoke a word up in here.
But you know, you have to take the bitter with the sweet. I have learned a lot in this campaign process. It brings out the best in us and also brings out the worst in us. So you have to take the bitter with the sweet, and at the end of the day, I knew before I got into this that there was going to be
both sides.
Both sides.
Right.
and you have to be mentally prepared for it, spiritually and physically. So it's a tough battle, but I serve a God who can do anything but fail.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know, a lot of times people say you can't mix religion and politics, but you know, I beg to differ. You got to have some God in you. I mean, am I wrong with that?
You're not wrong, but if a person would be honest, if they are a member of a church,
right?
Church is politics,
right?
You're
absolutely right.
Whether we acknowledge it or not, city council has a mayor and alderman.
Right.
A church has a pastor, deacons, and trustees. Right.
Don't start preaching up in here.
Amen. When stuff needs to be brought to the city's attention, the city council brings it to the city's attention. There's an ordinance needs to be passed, a tax that needs to be passed. The people vote on it.
Right.
When the pastor, deacon, trustee discuss church business, they bring it before the church, and the church votes on it.
Right.
It go hand in hand.
Go hand in hand. You're right. And if you supersede it in those processes, it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
Yeah. No. So you're right with that. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because there, I guess with the new mayor and you know, we have some of the same council members. How do you plan to kind of work with them to move Pine Bluff forward?
First, I'm going to go in with an open mind,
right?
Because I know these individuals personally,
right?
But I don't know them as council members,
right?
And there's two sides,
yes, sir,
on every coin.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Once that relationship is developed, you pretty much know who's going to work with you,
right, or
work against you. But at the end of the day, you have to do your best to make sure that the goal in hand is accomplished.
Right.
You have to put aside personal feelings. We have to get past that. This was my frat brother. Right. This was my homeboy from the neighborhood, or he's white, she's black, he's Hispanic. It's all about making life better for everybody. Everybody.
I mean, that's so true in reference to it, and we're going to need that to move Pine Bluff forward,
right?
Because Pine Bluff is a great place. Jefferson County is a great place. We just need a little push.
So many great people have come out of Pine Bluff.
Yes.
You have athletes, you have scholars, you have lawyers, you have doctors, you have people from all fields of life. But what good is it for Pine Bluff to produce such great people and not be able to hold on to them and to make this city better? What do we got to do? It's just like a husband and wife. Right. You love your wife, right, and you want her to stay. You're gonna do all you can to let her stay.
That's right.
And she's gonna do vice versa. We have got to do all we can. Take for example, the 1st Ward and 4th Ward are the historically parts of town. But if you notice, if UAPB was not in the 4th Ward, this would be almost a ghost side of town. Almost like the 1st Ward is. Now, it's good that down on Olive Street, where the Walmart Supercenter is, you have new businesses opening up, you have the hotels opening up. That's fine. But when you take new projects on the other side of town, you can't forget about the old side of town. You got to make some adjustments as to where everybody can progress. Because if just one side of town is progressing and this side of town is suffering, sooner or later it's going to be where the progress is going to move out and the suffering is going to circle all over the city.
Well, I'm glad you said that. We're gonna go to break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk more about the suffering in Pine Bluff and how to make it more progressive and work for Pine Bluff. We'll be right back.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. My guest today is Reverend Lloyd Holcomb, our new alderman for First Ward. Thanks again for coming.
All right.
All right.
I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And when we left on break, we were talking a little bit about the suffering in Pine Bluff and what can we do to kind of better Pine Bluff from some of the suffering. And I know it's going to take some of the churches to get involved, but from your perspective, what do you think?
The crime is the biggest problem here, because people need and want money.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
It takes money to live. It takes money for you to run this show.
Yes, sir.
It takes money for the camera to shoot us.
Right.
Everybody has a skill to earn money, whether it's a legal skill or an illegal skill.
Right. Hopefully it's more legal, though.
Hopefully it's more legal.
Yes, sir.
The problem with the city, and not just this city, but cities all over, it's the problem with the city and also the church. To take for instance the church. When I was a kid, up until the time I was 17 or graduated high school,
right,
I had to go to church.
Right. That's
I
right.
had to be there. I had to be there for Sunday school, morning worship.
That's right.
BTU.
That's right.
Vacation Bible school, and I just couldn't sit in church.
Right.
I had to be active.
That's right.
When a lot of people reach the age of 18, this is happening in churches all over. There's nothing for that age group from 18 to 35 for them to fit in.
Right.
Say if you sung in the choir at your church, now you're 18, you don't want to sing with the little kids anymore.
That's right.
But you don't want to sing with your grandma
Right.
in the choir also.
Because she ain't gonna sing the same kind of song.
Same kind of song.
Right.
And there's only just a handful of young people that are in churches. Okay, there are some churches who have a lot of young people, and they're grasping that. But it goes in hand with the city. Once these children get out of high school, or if they even make it to that point,
right.
some when this is the nucleus of the problem. When your mom is just 13 to 15 years older than you are.
And that's happening a lot.
That's happening a lot.
Yeah.
And it's, to some people, it's just a major accomplishment to get your high school diploma.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
Everybody's not going to be lucky to get a job at the paper mill,
Right.
cotton belt, railroad,
Right.
arsenal.
Right. Right.
And then there are some who have master's degrees who are walking the streets.
Yeah.
Right now. So how do I look at it? Well, here's a young man saying, well, I'm looking at my cousin who's been to school for 12 years. He has a master's degree and he don't even have a job.
Right.
Here I am, graduated high school, didn't do the best I could.
Right.
But here I am at the arsenal making $26 an hour.
Yeah.
And you have these young people who are saying, well, I can be like him. Why should I?
Right. I don't have to put forth that effort because I can do this, or maybe I could get lucky by going into the arsenal.
Right. But education is the key.
Yeah, education.
We have to impart to our young people the need for education. I'm a prime example. When I graduated high school in 1993, I went to college for 2 years.
Right.
I didn't go because I wanted to go.
Right.
I went because
you had to go.
I had to
That's
go.
right.
But it wasn't in my heart at the time. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a smart individual.
That's right.
But the Lord has some different paths to where he takes everybody. There's some people who can go to college and graduate in 3 years, become president of banks and corporations. There are some who struggle through college. But everybody has a special gift.
Right.
But what we have to do is, when we see that person walking down the street who looks like a thug, because he has his pants down, he has earrings all in his ear, he has his hat tilted to the side, tattoos everywhere, cigar in his mouth, beer bottle in his hand.
Right.
if he can just be shaped and molded, that could be your next mayor.
Yeah.
Brother Elliott, you have a past.
We all have a past.
I have a past.
That's right.
I ain't always been a preacher.
That's right. And I ain't always been saved. So.
But what we have to do is we just cannot push people to the side.
Right.
When you push people to the side, it's just like when you clean your house. When you know somebody's coming over.
Right.
You sweep it under the rug instead of putting it where it's supposed to go.
Right.
And once you start putting that pile under the rug and keep doing it and keep doing it, that pile grows.
Right.
And it becomes a serious problem. We have some of the smartest young people here. Anytime you can sit at home, we have a lot of people who can do so much with technology.
Yes. Yeah. And these kids nowadays live with technology. And they pick it up like this. You know, my 10-year-old can do stuff with the computer that I hadn't even thought about. And they can master that stuff through YouTube and other stuff that they can just get it quicker than we can. Right. So I guess what I'm hearing you saying is, as an alderman, you're going to be very transparent and trying to work with the youth and bring them aboard to do some things. Right. And that, I think that alone is so major. Right. Because our kids need to know that in the next 10 or 15 years, this is going to be their place.
This is going to be their place. And see, I can't tell you about when downtown was thriving. Right. I can't tell you about when everybody came to Crescents and this and that and the other. Right. I can tell you when the mall opened, everybody came there on the weekend. But let's look 20 to 30 years ahead to see where we can be. Right. Then, so what we have to do as city officials and leaders of the community is prepare the next generation, look 20 to 30 years ahead as to where they will be 2 steps ahead of the game. Right. Because when you're behind the 8 ball, it's a tough situation. But when you have prepared, when you have studied, when you have gotten your people together and everybody is on the same team, that's what it's going to take. Right. We saw this in the mayor's race. 9 people ran for mayor. Right. 9 people. Yeah. Yeah. And 1 came out. And there's only going to be 1 winner.
Right. You're absolutely right. So, you know, I'm glad to know that you have a passion for the youth as well, and what you see, it seems like you're carrying on the tradition of your mom. Plus, I see the future in you as well. And now tell me this: if like a youth or something wants to, you know, be more active in local government. Will he be able to come to you and work with you and stuff like that?
Yes, he will.
But I tell you, before we go into that, we have to go on break. They've been signaling me 2 or 3 times. We're gonna go on break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about some youth intervention things that this city can do.
Bring this sweet.
Welcome back to the Elliott Alert. My guest today is Reverend Lloyd Holcomb, Jr., and he is our new First Ward Alderman. And you'll be sworn in January, is that correct?
Yes, sir. In
January.
January.
You'll start the ball rolling in January. Now, when we left our break, you were mentioning about the youth. And can you tell me how are you going to work kind of with the youth to work with local government and to you know, either mentor or just bring them more up to speed to what you're trying to do?
Well, my plan working with the youth is letting them participate in local government.
Wow.
So they can understand
Right.
the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branches of government. I remember the youth council that we had here in the city, which helped a lot of young people prepare themselves for their future. We, our young people, it's all right to play basketball. It's all right to play football. It's all right to run track, baseball. But who's going to be the next judge? Who's going to be the next doctor, the next lawyer? Who's going to make sure laws are in place for our people? And we have to work with our young people. We can't shove it down their throats, but we got to kind of
pull them in
and let them know that, hey, it's in your hands now. Mom and dad is not going to be here. It's up to you. And what I want to do is to get all the young people involved, especially the 18 and younger, but especially that age group from 18 to 35 that seems to want to leave Pine Bluff, and those that stay here not always get the jobs but are just in Pine Bluff. What we have to do is, in order for jobs to come to this city, we have got to change our image. The most of the negative publicity that we receive comes from within us.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Nobody, no city, nobody nowhere else does not have crime. Conway is a great city.
But
they
Conway
has crime.
That's right.
Fayetteville, great city.
Got crime.
Fayetteville has crime. Pine Bluff, which is almost 90% African American, has crime. And it's going to be publicized because of the majority of the population.
So what you're saying, Reverend, too, excuse me, Alderman, is that first of all, we have to take responsibility for our community ourselves and start loving ourselves. And stop letting or stop downgrading ourselves. And then through that, we can work together to build a better Pine Bluff. And tell us more about that image that you were talking, changing the image.
Changing the image. Well, when let's use you for example. You're married, right?
Yes, sir.
How long you been married?
20 years.
20 years. When you first met Miss Elliott, on your first date, you got clean.
That's right.
You shaved, you showered, you went to the barber shop, got a haircut, had your smell good on, had your car clean.
That's right.
You wanted her to see you at your best.
At my best, that's correct.
Pine Bluff must be at our best. Now, the only time that we really come together to make this city look good is homecoming. Because everybody profits when homecoming comes.
That's right. You're right with that.
The Walmart profits, the mall profits, the small businesses, the big restaurants, the retailers. But what are you going to do those other 360 days of the year? When those other days when say Krispy Kreme donuts or Nike shoe is looking for a new plant to build, and they come down our streets and see trash everywhere. They see abandoned houses with boards all over them. They see trash all in the ditches, grass as tall as the building. Who wants to bring their business to a place that doesn't care how they look? Now, I'm not saying overall that we don't care, but the proof is in the pudding. We have to change our image. If I own some property, if I live out of town, and I'm not taking care of it, I need to be held responsible. If I live on that property and not taking care of it, I need to be responsible. If I'm not paying my taxes, I need to be held responsible. If I'm not taking care of Pine Bluff like I say I love it, I need to be held responsible. We all take part in the situation that we're in. Everybody's on board when things are going good.
That's right.
Man, I've in the last couple of days, I've had people speak to me that have never spoken to me before. But just as soon as you start the position and you start to work and you pass legislation that is not in that particular person's favor.
Right. They may stop speaking.
They may stop speaking to you. But what we have to do overall is everybody work together. The blacks need the whites.
That's right.
The whites need the blacks.
Right.
The Hispanics need the blacks, and we all need each other. We cannot keep doing this segregation thing, because
it hadn't worked.
It hadn't worked,
and it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
Right.
When I got the ball, I'm gonna do you like you did me.
Right.
When you had the ball.
Right.
And then when you get the ball back, you're gonna do me like I done you. There's no progress.
Right.
In order to move forward, people try to say the Bible and politics don't go together. If you read your Bible,
you're absolutely right.
Everything that happened in the Bible is happening right now. The book of Revelation is being fulfilled. And if we're not careful, we're going to miss out on the blessings when God comes back.
Right.
He's not going to care about me being pastor of Barrington Street. He's not going to care about me being first ward alderman. He's not going to care about you doing the Elliott show.
That's right.
All he wants to know, first of all, are you saved? Did you love me? Did you help your brothers and sisters?
Right.
And when you help your brothers and sisters, everybody will progress. I'm a preacher, so I had to throw scripture in.
That's all right. Go ahead.
23rd Psalm says, my cup runneth over. Now, if I have my cup and I have it on a saucer, when it runs over, what's on the saucer, if you beside me, you can get it.
That's right.
So if I'm blessed, you're going to be blessed.
That's right.
And as long as everybody holds their cup and be around to make sure that people are holding their cup, our cup will keep running over. We'll have people begging us to open plants here. We'll have corporations begging us to come to Pine Bluff. When we take a stand, we know who are selling the drugs in our neighborhoods. We know who's breaking in the houses. We know who's not doing right. But when we take a stand and say we're tired of it, that's when things will get better. And I want to work with the young people. I want to work with the middle-aged, the elderly. You got elderly who are scared to come out of their homes at 5 o'clock when it gets dark.
Wow.
You have middle-aged people who will come downtown and go back home because they're afraid of being robbed or being attacked. But how can we change that? By reaching out and saying, brother, sister, I love you. The only way we can make this city work is together. Now, someone would say, well, it's going to take more than I love Pine Bluff. It's going to take more than quoting scriptures. It's going to take more than saying we can do this. It's going to take effectiveness. Well, until you have that main ingredient, you can pass all the legislation you want. We have seen this from the time we have been children. Legislation has been passed, ordinances have been passed, and some of that stuff is still sitting on the shelf right now. And until we get together and work together, it's not going to do us any good. I'm all about making sure that Pine Bluff has a positive image. It's going to be a better place.
Well, I tell you, Reverend, thanks again for coming. How can somebody get in contact with you if they need?
Well, I'm going to give my personal cell phone number, and that's 870-489-3030. And then I also have an email address this is in lowercase letters. It's LLOYD_HOLCOMB@yahoo.com.
Well, I just want to let you know it's been a pleasure for you being on our show, Reverend, and I just want to let you know you've just been placed on alert.
Thank you. God bless you.
You too.